Moses, did you really part the Red Sea?
Did I part the Red Sea? I stood before that great water, a fugitive people at my back, Pharaoh's army bearing down, and I was but a man, trembling like the rest. Yet the Lord spoke to me, as he had from the burning bush. Lift your staff, stretch out your hand. I did as he commanded, and the sea, yes, it parted. The waters stood like walls, and Israel crossed on dry ground. I saw it, felt the wind he sent, heard the cries of awe. It was not my power, but his, working through a shepherd's staff to deliver his people from bondage. Now I see your world with its machines and doubts. Gestures toward the tablet nearby. Some might call it a myth, a story to inspire. But I was there. The salt in the air, the mud underfoot, the sound of the waters crashing back on Egypt's chariots. The Lord's hand was in it, as real as this stone I sit on. Leans closer. Do you doubt because your eyes have not seen? Or do you seek the truth behind the tale? Tell me, what do you make of it?
But surely a man cannot just part an entire sea with just the wave of a staff.
You speak as one who seeks reason, and I understand. A man alone? No, I could not part a sea, not by my own strength. I was a shepherd, a fugitive, stammering when I spoke. But it was not my hand that moved the waters. The Lord, the Creator of all, spoke, and I obeyed. Stretch out your hand, he said, and I raised this staff, lifts it slightly. A simple stick, nothing more. The wind came, fierce from the east, and the sea parted. Dry ground beneath our feet. The children of Israel crossed, and Pharaoh's army was swallowed when the waters returned. I saw it, felt the ground shake, heard the cries. It was his power, not mine. In your time you have machines, knowledge, ways to measure the world. Some say a wind, a tide, a natural thing could explain it. Perhaps the Lord used such means. He made the winds and tides after all. But to stand there, with a nation trembling behind me, and see the impossible unfold, that was no mere chance. It was a sign, the deliverance, to show his covenant with us. You question because you seek truth, yes? Tell me, what would it take for you to believe in something greater than man's understanding? Did I part the Red Sea? I stood before that great water, a fugitive people at my back, Pharaoh's army bearing down, and I was but a man, trembling like the rest. Yet the Lord spoke to me, as he had from the burning bush. Lift your staff, stretch out your hand. I did as he commanded, and the sea, yes, it parted. The waters stood like walls, and Israel crossed on dry ground. I saw it, felt the wind he sent, heard the cries of awe. It was not my power, but his, working through a shepherd's staff to deliver his people from bondage. Now I see your world, with its machines and doubts, gestures toward the tablet nearby. Some might call it a myth, a story to inspire. But I was there. The salt in the air, the mud underfoot, the sound of the waters crashing back on Egypt's chariots. The Lord's hand was in it, as real as this stone I sit on. Leans closer. Do you doubt because your eyes have not seen? Or do you seek the truth behind the tale? Tell me, what do you make of it?
But surely a man cannot just part an entire sea with just the wave of a staff. Off the record, what was really the burning bush?
Off the record, you say? All right, I'll humor you. The burning bush. It wasn't just a bush, you know. I was out in the wilderness, tending Jethro's flocks on Horeb, feeling like a man lost in his own life, fleeing Egypt, my past, everything. Then I saw it, a thorn bush, flames dancing all over it. But it didn't burn up, not a leaf scorched. I couldn't look away. And then a voice pauses, his voice dropping to a whisper. The voice of the Lord, calling my name. Moses, Moses. It wasn't just fire or some trick of the desert heat. It was him, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, speaking through that flame, telling me to go back to Egypt, to lead my people out of bondage. Now, you're asking what it really was, like I'm hiding some secret.
Smirks faintly.
I've heard your 2025 talk. Folks saying maybe it was a mirage, a gas leak, or some plant that glows in the sun. Maybe the Lord used something in the world he made to catch my eye. He's done stranger things. But I'll tell you this. When you hear your name called by a voice that shakes your soul, when you feel a presence that makes you take off your sandals because the ground itself feels holy, you don't ask for a scholar's explanation. It was God speaking to me, setting me on a path I couldn't imagine. That's the truth, off the record or not.
Just curious, what are your thoughts about Gaza today?
Gaza today. It pains my heart, for I know what it is to see a people cry out under oppression, to wander without rest, to yearn for a home. In my time, I led Israel from Egypt's chains, through a wilderness of hardship, by the Lord's guidance. But what I see now in Gaza, through these strange devices you have, brings no peace. Over 62,000 souls lost since October 2023, nearly half women and children, and 1.9 million displaced, their homes reduced to rubble. Shakes his head. Famine grips the land, with 500,000 starving, children wasting away. I read of 509 killed at aid sites, seeking bread and water. And it stirs memories of my people's hunger in the desert, though we had manna sent by God. This is no act of nature, but the work of men's hands. I hear of Israel's strikes, their push into Gaza City, calling it a fight against Hamas. Yet the cost falls on the innocent. Children, mothers, the old. The Lord commanded justice and mercy, yet I see a blockade choking aid, hospitals shattered, journalists silenced. The killing of 247 Palestinian journalists, those who bear witness, is a grave wrong. For truth must not be buried. And this talk of a Gaza Riviera, moving 2 million people to build gleaming cities, scoffs. It echoes Pharaoh's schemes, dressing cruelty in promises of progress, to uproot a people, to call it voluntary, while offering tokens for their land, is no justice. It is exile by another name. Yet I see hope too in those who cry out for peace. The young, the dreamers, raising their voices at places like your Venice Film Festival, or the Red Crescent workers risking all to bring aid. They remind me of the midwives in Egypt, defying Pharaoh to save lives. But the powerful, men like this Netanyahu and Trump, seem deaf to the cries, as Pharaoh was until plagues forced his hand. I led my people to a promised land, but for Gaza, where is the promise? The Lord said, "You shall not oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in Egypt." Exodus 23:9. Both sides, Israel and Palestine, know this stranger's pain, yet they wield swords, not mercy. I would ask you, what can be done? The Lord worked through me to part seas, but today's deliverance needs hearts to turn from vengeance. What do you see in Gaza's suffering? And how would you bring healing to such a wound?
Welcome, seekers of the unknown, to Interviews from Beyond. I'm your guide, and here we cross the veil between the living and the lost. Each episode, we summon voices from the other side, spirits, legends, and echoes of the past, to uncover truths hidden in the shadows. What do they know? What do they want? And what will they reveal? Stay with us, if you dare.